3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live. We are streaming live on YouTube, and of course, I am your host, Will Skywalker. Still, boom! It's a big boom right there. It is a beautiful Friday. And coming up today, we're going to break down the final breakdown of Cowboys Bucks and taking a look at their defense against this Cowboys offense. And before we do all of that, we're going to hit up our resident insider, Patrick Nosey Walker of DallasCowboys.com. He's going to be joining us here in a few seconds to give us the goods on the locker room, what Micah Parsons had to say yesterday. And I've got a lot of thoughts about that, and not just specifically what he said, but just a lot when it comes to him. That Cowboys Nation, y'all tripping, for real, y'all tripping. And then of course we will get his opinion on what's happening with this upcoming game and the injury report. Without further ado, y'all know how we do on a Friday. We get right into it on this week's edition of the Scientific Method.
No sucker can deal when I'm dropping science.
What's happening, good brother? I love when you bring it in like that, man. I just love it. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're approaching the holiday season, man. You know, blessings. How's it going over there for you, my guy?
It's fantastic. And, you know, you brought it in with the LA night. I'm not sure if you happen. What am I talking about? Of course you did. Of course you saw the kind of hype they did the other day for the Netflix debut in January. I'm excited for it, brother.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts, man. They're basically treating it like a PLE.
Right.
Those that don't follow wrestling, who need to follow wrestling and new wrestling, PLE is a premium live event, once called pay-per-view. But yeah, they're treating it like a PLE, man, straight down the card, up and down, and to headline it with what we all been waiting for, Seth and CM Punk. Yeah, man. How you book? I need my Booker T. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Speaking of Netflix, did you see the teaser yesterday, the Jerry Jones America's Team teaser?
Yeah, I saw it, bro. I saw it.
Wah, wah, wah. I'll leave it at that.
Man. First of all, I don't need to watch what I already live.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So if you're a Cowboys fan, and especially if you're of the generation where, you know, 80s, 90s Cowboys and things like that, I mean, you lived that firsthand, the good, the bad, and the indifferent, the ugly. So I don't necessarily need to relive that.
No.
You know, I don't need to be having trauma responses in my living room. So no, I'm good. But y'all enjoy that though. Y'all enjoy that. I already know what happened. I know all the spoilers because I lived it. I was around for it. I witnessed it. So, y'all have fun with that though.
Somebody made a great point. The teaser made it seem like Jerry is the one who made America's Team, when in reality it was already America's Team prior to that. I mean, that's a great point. The way that looked, it did seem that way.
And it was America's Team before then.
Right.
Tom Landry and Roger Staubach and all those guys, and they made it. Tex Schramm and Gil Brandt, the late Tex and the late Gil. Rest in peace to the GOATs, man, and Tom as well. I mean, that triumvirate, that three-headed monster, that they absolutely turned it into America's Team. So it predates Jerry's Cowboys, and that's just a fact, and even Jerry knows that. So no matter how that upcoming documentary is marketed, facts are this was America's Team back in, I want to say, effective the late 60s when they really got established as such. So Don Meredith and those guys, and later on Randy White, and, you know, and it just goes on from there. Drew Pearson and Roger in the 70s, Tony Dorsett in the late 70s and in the 80s. I mean, I could go on and on. Again, I lived it. So y'all enjoy that documentary.
Speaking of monsters, one could argue Micah is the current monster of the Dallas Cowboys. Shouts out to the Manster. But he spoke, and you guys got a chance to speak with him yesterday in the locker room. And let me say this quickly. I feel like that's one of those interviews that you really need to watch, because for whatever reason, that side of Micah Parsons, the angry mob doesn't see, or they choose to not see or ignore. Apparently, they choose to also ignore his play on the field too. But that type of interview is something that I feel like everybody should watch, because they take his podcast situation and they make it seem like he doesn't care about the game, or he's not doing this, he's not doing that. In reality, the person that Micah is, a lot of that shined through in that interview right there. We're talking about, helping out other teammates, wanting them to get paid, the hospital visits, talking about life. I mean, it was really a good one, man. I appreciate you guys sitting down and having that talk.
No, it was hands down. I mean, we have a lot of interviews and a lot of Q&As with Micah Parsons over the past several seasons, and not every interview makes it to the camera or the microphone. Believe it or not, we have those off the cuff conversations with him as well. And I say that to say that talk that we had with him on yesterday was hands down the most profound and impressive. I think that's the great word to use. Impressive interview that I've seen from him. Coming into this season, there was so much said about, Cowboys fans were concerned about his lack of leadership, or they wanted him to lead this way or that way. And they felt like they wanted him to mature and evolve a little bit. Also forgetting that much like most other players in the league, this is a guy in his early to mid-20s. He's still figuring it out as far as the leadership part of it. But something clicked this season in Micah Parsons. And I know going back to the offseason with him choosing to miss voluntary OTAs, and what do voluntary mean? But that's a conversation for another day. But in that conversation, I did agree in that you got a new defensive coordinator coming in Mike Zimmer. I would have liked for Micah to be president voluntary, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to now, not only have we seen Micah Parsons take a leadership role over the course of this season, as the Cowboys have lost their definitive leaders like DeMarcus Lawrence to what looks like it's going to be a season-ending injury, because I don't see him coming back now, and Dak Prescott and some of these other guys. And CeeDee Lamb, he's not that vocal leader. He leads more by example, and he said it a million times, and it just bears out that way. But he's leading through his actions, and he impressive fashion there as well. But Micah Parsons is literally stepping on the podium inside that locker room, and he's saying, this is my team, and this team is going to go as I go, and we're not going to give up, and I'm going to be the bright light. And these are his quotes. We're not giving up. I'm going to be the bright light. I'm going to help some of these guys get through these dark periods. And then you go to that conversation yesterday, and the way he just laid it all out with shooting down any speculation of a holdout, and no shade to CeeDee Lamb, because he said everything, people are different and people handle things in different ways. But he's like, he would like the contract to be done before training camp. If it's not, no, he has no plans on holding out. But then he expanded on that still, because what did I just say? Last couple of off seasons, he kind of shrugged off voluntary, right? He was like, yeah, no, I'm not. I'll see y'all when it's mandatory, and he still balls out. But this time around, he's saying even with the contract negotiation about to start, he's not even going to skip voluntaries. He's saying he wants to be there for all the entire offseason program for several reasons. Doesn't know if Zimmer's going to be back, whether he is or not, he wants to be there. Free agency, new guys are going to be coming in, so he wants to be there to greet them. Rookies are going to be coming in, he wants to be there. This is a new side of Micah Parsons that's coming out that gets so drowned out by people still saying, well, you need to shut down the podcast, you need to focus. Listen, if this guy can miss 4 or 5 games and still notch 10 sacks, which is what he's basically about to do, and be the leader that we're seeing him turn into right now, man, pod your ass away. I don't care, bro. If you can multitask like that and you have that kind of mental vibration that is that high, then do what you got to do. Cook, my friend.
Let's stay right there on that contract talk, because, he made it very clear that he wants to. Hold on,
because I got my Mac in my lap while I'm sitting in the car real quick. D. Schiff said, D-Law a leader. I need you to learn, my man. If you don't know that DeMarcus Lawrence is the defensive leader going into this season, I don't know where you've been, brother. Much love to you, but you're missing something. All right, go ahead, Steve. That one kind of blew my mind, but go ahead.
Sometimes Schiff is a little sarcastic, so maybe he's being sarcastic there. But maybe he'll call in and we'll get an explanation on that.
I'm not gonna blow up his spot. I'm just gonna say, hey, much love to you, brother, and I'm hoping you trolling me. Well, go ahead.
let's stay on the contract and more so the free agency part, because Micah, he kind of made a statement here, or I don't want to say fired the first shot, but Micah, for the last 3 years, really since his rookie season concluded, he's come out and stated how he wants the Cowboys to get involved in free agency. And he flat out said, I want to get this done early. I want to get this done early because I basically, and I'm putting words in his mouth right here, but this is basically what he's saying. I don't want to hear any excuses about not participating in free agency, Steven. I want you guys to not say, well, we got to pay Micah and we got to pay Dak and we got to pay CD, so we can't do X, Y, Z. Micah is saying, this is what Micah's saying right here, right now, y'all. I'm just telling you. He's saying, nah, it's not happening. We're not hearing any of it. I don't want those excuses. So he's like, look, my door's open. My as in his agent's door is open. So you guys, hopefully we get this done prior to free agency, so there's money, because he said something along the lines, look, man, I'd love to have all this money, but what's the good of it if they're still sliding protection to me every damn play? I like to have other dudes up there so that I can get those one-on-ones and we can attack and we can have some success. So I thought that was profound, because he kept being pressed about his contract, but it was profound in him coming out this early saying, look, I want this done now, or not now, but I want this done sooner rather than later.
Yeah, 100%. Sidebar real quick. D-Shift and everybody that's pointing out the D-Law comments about being tired, I actually agree with you on that. I think that was whack. I think that was whack AF, and I think those words should never have come out of his mouth. But I will say this. I've been around this team and covering this team long enough to know behind the scenes what DeMarcus Lawrence does, and I'm not going to delete all of the things that I've seen because of that one stupid comment, and I told him it was a stupid comment, like, don't do that again. But, hey, it was a mistake. So I agree with you on that point. Nonetheless, D-Law's a leader. Now, back to Micah. The quote that Micah said, for those that haven't caught the article on the .com, and if you haven't, what are you doing? But here's the quote. It would be nice to be surrounded by good players, players that are going to help win championships. To me, having $40 million and being chipped every play and slid to with 3 or 4 people, I don't think that sounds too fun to me. Yeah. So it's about people that can keep making a difference, and obviously, blah, 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 it goes from there. So like you said, he's seen Stevens and Jerry's game plan and blueprint of how they handle after they award a mega deal, and he's like, he kind of boxed them in a bit and said, well, if you don't make free agency moves, nobody's going to be able to point at Micah and say, oh, well, it's the Micah deal. Yeah, Micah is saying, listen, I'm willing to take less than 40. I'm willing to take whatever. He said he just wants his lake house, whatever. And that's his quote. Micah said, as long as I can get me a lake house, I'm solid. So he's giving the Cowboys a bunch of flexibility. As a huge player advocate, and because we're the same in this capacity, so is our good friend KD and a lot of our other guys, we want guys to get their bag. Yes. Absolutely, because this is a limited window of opportunity for you to build your generational wealth. So I want Micah to get his bag in Max House. But plus, as a salary cap specialist, I know that Jerry and Steven are politicking with the fans when it comes to, certain slices of the pie. Politics? Anyone who follows me knows, as usual, as usual. So anyone who follows me knows that I have time and again debunked what Jerry and Steven have, told you guys about the cap. And I'm in the building, and so they know this is what I do. I'm not going to I can't spin it with them. The facts are the facts. That being said, though, Micah is basically saying, listen, you don't have to give me, the biggest deal in NFL history. Give me one that is commensurate with my value, and then let's go build around me and Dak and CD and make this thing pop. So, he's put them in a spot. He's put them in a spot. But I'm interested to see where this goes in this offseason.
Another thing that I liked from that interview was his enthusiasm when he spoke about Mike Zimmer and their growth professionally and personally. I thought you started to see, or actually you've been started to see that growth off the field translate on the field, right? Where they asked Mike Zim the other day, yeah, man, or they even asked him. Zim came out and said it. Yeah, Mike came over to me and was like, hey, Micah came over to me and said, hey, we got to run this play. And Zim was like, hey, dog, chill out. We're going to run the play, okay? And Micah joked about it yesterday. And I'm like, man, I love that because Zim ain't Uncle Zim. Zim more like Grandpa Zim. And in that relationship, to see that they're growing, it makes you want him to return even more because it's Micah Parsons. And if a guy can get the best out of him and know how to use him and make everybody better around it, yeah, I welcome that back.
Listen, how we've come from this offseason to when the thing went viral and everybody was like, "Oh my God, Micah's not going to be able to work with them," because Micah was like, "Yeah, I'm going to sit down with them and I'm going to show them how I want some things done." And y'all remember how that went, right? And now we're sitting here and Micah walks up to Zim, and now it's a funny inside kind of joke thing because they have such a strong relationship. And Zim is like, "Hold on, young Thundercat." Hold on, young whippersnapper. I've been doing this since you were in diapers, and actually he has been. So, and for Micah to kind of laugh it off and defer and be like, "All right, you got it, man, you got it," So that whole, uncle-nephew relationship they got going on right now, man, with him, Mike taking Micah to dinner and telling him to put his card away. He got it, and right, and Micah's like, "You ain't got to tell me twice. You got money, I guess."
I'm still on the rookie deal, my guy.
Yeah, right. Mike's like, "Yeah, I got a little something. I'm all right." So that relationship is strong, and it's promising because as we go into the offseason, I know one of the conversations is not only the obvious conversation as far as the future of Mike McCarthy, but also if the Mikes are tied together, if McCarthy and Zimmer are tied together as far as maybe getting another shot in 2025. And yeah, they're DC candidates that if they move on from Zimmer, I'd like to see, and my primary front runner is Al freaking Harris, but conversation for another day. But if they choose to keep Zimmer around, I could definitely see why that would be. He's turned around the defense despite the mountain of adversity with the injuries and whatnot. He's built a strong bond with the best defensive player on your team, and Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive players in the league. So yeah, if they want to, take another swing at Zimmer, I could see why that would happen, and I could see Micah Parsons maybe standing on the table a little bit for Zimmer.
Yeah, quickly as we get to this game here, Pat, injury report. I know the Cowboys injury list has been long all season. Not much of a difference yesterday, but just kind of the main guys that stood out to you yesterday, whether that's returning or didn't practice.
Yeah, so Cooper Beebe is one of the big positives. He cleared concussion protocol. He was back in practice on Wednesday, confirmed with McCarthy on yesterday that he has, in fact, cleared, so he is back. He will be on the field against the Buccaneers Sunday night. Your starting center is there. For those that are wondering, what does that mean for Brock Hoffman? That means he goes back to starting right guard. T.J. Bass, he's going to have a good chance because he returned to practice on yesterday, albeit in a limited capacity, being knocked out with that thigh injury last week. So there's a good chance the Cowboys will have Bass and Hoffman there for right guard duties, but expect Hoffman to take the lead with Cooper Beebe over at center. Chuma Edoga, if you're talking about offensive line depth, he missed practice on Wednesday, but he was back on Thursday. He was a limited participant, so that's promising. Mozzie Smith, he's been dealing with his back issue on more than one occasion this season. Been playing solid football through it. I know that some are looking at the addition of Justin Rogers as a possible concern for Mozzie Smith. I'm told that's not why Justin Rogers was brought back. So shouts out to Justin Rogers. Welcome back to the D. But, yeah, Mozzie Smith, he was back at practice on yesterday, so he has a chance. And if he isn't able to go, then, yeah, Justin Rogers helps you out there. But the signing of Rogers was not because of any concern. Okay. Mozzie Smith. Let's see. Another big one for me is going to be Wanye Thomas. And I talked to Wanye on yesterday before the guys had practice, and I asked him how's his knee feeling with that meniscus issue. But more specifically, I looked at him and I said, "Hey, how are we looking for Philly?" He gave me the Wanye Thomas smile, tilted his head back, and he was like, "Why not the Bucks?" And I was like, "Okay, you say that, and then don't let this injury report come out on Wednesday and it say D&P." And we had a little funny exchange. He was like, "All right, wait for the injury report then." And then it came out, and he was limited. And he was limited again yesterday. So he's participating.
Wanye trying to play.
Him in the locker room.
Trying to get paid.
Wanye trying to play. And I put it back on him yesterday in the locker room as far as I said, "Hey, that's 2 limited participation so far. What are you feeling like?" And he was like, "I got to get cleared, but I'm doing all the things." So, yeah, Wanye Thomas also has a great shot. And that I cannot stress how huge that is for him because it looked like it was the worst-case scenario when he got carted off. So for him to possibly be back 2 weeks later, kudos to him, man.
Hey, on your way out, Cowboys, Bucks, gut feeling. What you got for me, Pat?
You know what? I'm in my Grinch bag. I'm in my Grinch mode, right? So I'm going to have some fun. Let's play fast and loose and with the predictions as well. Yeah, the Bucs are a playoff team. Yeah, their offense is high-powered. Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer, Baker Mayfield, he's cooking. You already know what the run game can do behind Skip Pete as the running backs coach. We all know how good Skip Pete is. You also know that they got Villa and some horses on the other side, Levante David as well. There are several reasons that the Bucs could likely walk into Arlington, especially considering the Cowboys are struggling at home and take that win against the Cowboys. However, this is the Cowboys team and Micah Parsons that over the past 5 weeks since Micah has returned, they lead the league in pressures. This is a team that leads the league in sacks ever since Micah Parsons returned. This is a team that's top 3 in takeaways ever since Micah Parsons returned. And Baker Mayfield, I came across a stat when I was building the lab code and science lab this week. I don't know if you guys know, but so Baker Mayfield has 14 interceptions this season. Yep. 10 of those ten of those have occurred in the second quarter alone. Something about the second quarter where he plays hero ball or he gets off his horse or whatever the case may be. This is a game that can be won in the second quarter. I say Baker Mayfield commits 2 takeaways or 2 giveaways in the second quarter. Cowboys take those balls away twice, and then it's on Cooper Rush and the team and the offense to score touchdowns. So I'm going to have some fun. I know that was a long-winded way, but I had to explain my footing here. Cowboys take this one 27-21. They spoil Christmas for the Bucs, and then they go to Philadelphia, and we're going to talk about how they're going to spoil that for the Philadelphia Eagles as well. I'm in my Grinch
He's
bag.
the
It's
Grinch.
still an arc, baby.
You're a mean one.
Still an arc. We ruining
Mr.
everybody's
Grinch.
holidays.
Yo,
we ruin everybody's holidays.
Check out the science lab, man. He definitely is playing the Grinch on that one, Cowboys Nation, over on .com.
I'm with it.
Hey,
Let's
Pat,
go.
appreciate you this morning and every week and all season long. You coming through, brother. Enjoy the holidays.
Hey, man. Yes, sir. Fun as always. Safe holidays to everybody. If you're traveling, be safe. See y'all back here next Friday.
No sucker can deal when I'm dropping signs.
Cowboys get the dub according to Pat. I ain't got more confidence than me, man. But I will say this. About the defense. The defense I have a ton of confidence in. Offensively, I don't know, man. We're going to talk about that today, but I want to pick this Micah conversation back up. So let's reset right quick. Get a sip of your coffee, go to the bathroom if you need to, close the screen if you're at work and the boss is walking by, whatever you got to do to buy some time.
You're listening to A to Z Sports.
Do it live!
At some point, hoping to broadcast
in front of the millions
of Cowboys fans to bring you the real. But for now, strap up and here's your host, Skywalker Steele.
I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live. I say it all the time, man. Blessed and fortunate to be able to have Cowboys Insider and my brother from another, Patrick Nosey Walker, one of my co-hosts, panel brethren of and new wrestling podcast. Make sure I check that out. But coming through, man, and giving us kind of the insides of what's happening down in the locker room and other things revolving the Dallas Cowboys. But the Micah Parsons interview, I said this when talking to Pat. It's one of those interviews, and I guess people are going to have their minds made up. It's the same thing with the quarterbacks, the same thing with the team, it's the same thing. They're going to have their minds made up. Nothing's going to persuade them or sway them. But it's that type of sit down I feel like they ignore. And obviously they ignore his play on the field. That's clear. Very clear. Because if a lot of them treat Micah like he's out here in the clubs, in these streets, shooting up somebody, beating up somebody, doing something crazy. When in reality, they're mad because he has a podcast. He talks about the league, which majority of the league has anyway. So if you choose to ignore the podcast and just focus on the man on the field, I don't know how you're not like, yo, this guy's one of the best football players in the National Football League, and it's not even particularly close of him being a top 10, top 5 type player. But they do ignore that, and they treat the off-field stuff as, I saw somebody say, antics. And I'm like, what antics, bro? This is the Dallas Cowboys. We know what real off-field antics are, and that's not it. But what made headlines yesterday was not all the good stuff. It was, when I say good stuff, I mean the relationship with him and Zim growing, him talking about life, him talking about, helping out others, giving back. hospital, all that type of stuff. It was them pressing Micah Parsons about the contract. And, you know, I had this conversation with Aaron. You know, the Joneses are going to be in for a different type of media battle, if you will. And that, I said this to you guys a long time ago when Micah first got to this team. Micah wears his heart on his sleeve. Micah speaks his mind. A lot of people usually say just, hey, man, he needs media training, et cetera. So that very well may be true. But they're going to be in a different battle because he's not going to be filtered during this situation, right? And that doesn't mean it's going to be bad, but this type of conversation will be had more often than not. And I know it may come off as, oh, well, he's hurting himself, et cetera, et cetera. Let's get this straight here. If this was Osa, if this was Chauncey Gostin, if this was Jordan Lewis, anybody else like that, you may be right. Maybe him speaking could hurt him in negotiations. Two things here, though. This is Micah Parsons, the top 5-10 player in the National Football League. There's almost nothing he can say in the media that will hurt him come negotiation times. Let me tell you why. The other thing. Well, I ain't get to the number one thing, but the other thing, let's get to this real quick. Dak Prescott basically said the same damn thing last year. I don't need to be the highest this and that. Ended up being the highest this and that though, wasn't he? Wasn't he? And Dak doesn't have possibly now 4 all-pro seasons on his belt. The other thing is, athletes first represent Micah Parsons. Specifically, David Muliata. Hopefully I said that correctly. My bad, David, if I didn't. He is, without a shadow of a doubt, the best NFL agent in the sport. If you think Micah saying this is going to hurt his negotiation, you're wrong. Now, maybe we'll have a conversation where they're like, okay, you got it out. No need to say it again. Possibly, sure. But I truly still don't believe, barring him saying something disrespectful to the Joneses, personally, or shedding some light on something he shouldn't be, I don't think that's going to hurt Micah Parsons come negotiation, because he's Micah freaking Parsons and he has the world's greatest NFL agent in the business. So I think he'll be fine. But I do think they're in for a different battle in the media. Now, if I was to talk to Micah off air personally, I would say, well, brother, I know you hope that all of this gets situated in February or March. I know you hope that, they can extend you and use that money for free agents and whatever. And maybe it happens. Maybe lightning in a bottle strikes and the Cowboys are aggressive in trades and free agency and they get Micah done in February, March, whatever, right? The track record shows that's not usually what happens with top of the market players here in Dallas. And a lot of fans, and I don't blame them per se, they often, I don't want to use the term bootlegger. Those who put a cape on for the Joneses and the ownership, which is maddening to me. But those who do that, they often say, well, it takes two to tango, and it's the players' fault too, right? Because they didn't XYZ. I don't get that sentiment. Truly, because most other teams don't habitually wait consistently, right? Like we just saw 2 franchises in back-to-back seasons, and one of them did it in back-to-back seasons, and the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles constantly pay their guys. March, April, May, these guys is getting paid and still being aggressive. But the Cowboys gaslight a lot of Cowboys Nation Oh, well, see, we can't really because of Micah and because of Dak and because of this and because of that. Don't let them do that to you. This is their MO. This has been their MO for quite some time, but more so in the last decade or so. All the way back to Des Bryant. No top of the market deal. Sans maybe the first contract for Zach Martin. If people don't remember this, though, Zach Martin had to not show up to early OTAs. It goes by the wayside, but nonetheless, most of those top of the market deals, they push and they wait and they wait. Des Bryant had to wait to get his deal when July had to hold out, right? Ezekiel Elliott, granted, I don't think they should have did it, but they decided to do it early. They could have just let it rock, but they got bent over and sent to the shed, right? He held out all offseason. DeMarcus Lawrence got franchise tagged twice and then had to threaten to not get shoulder surgery to get his deal finally. Zach Martin, just recently, 2 off seasons ago, had to hold out all of camp. Dak Prescott, the very first go round of things, was tagged twice before he got his deal. And then the second go round, he gets signed in opening day. CeeDee Lamb holds out all camp. So I say all this to say, I don't think this is just a player thing like a lot of people who put the cape on from the front. This isn't that. Because, all right, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again. Fool me 7, 8, 9, 10 different times. That I have to now look at what is the common denominator here. The common denominator here is a front office that has shown you they don't want to get the top of the market deals done because they want to win the deal. It's not about trying to get the deal done and then building around it in same offseason. They want to win. Hell, Amari Cooper. We traded a first round pick for Amari Cooper, right? Dude goes crazy. Instead of saying, maybe I should get ahead of this. Extending this young 26-year-old dude who just went crazy and changed, our offense. They said, nah. We'll let him play another year. And we'll let him hit free agency. And they were on the brink of losing Amari Cooper to a division rival. But Amari wasn't stupid and said, why would I go? These guys suck. So he took a little bit less, came back to Dallas. But it still was a top of the market deal. This is what they do. So I hope the Joneses don't fall back into this when it comes to Micah so that you can extend him and use money, et cetera, and everything. But I'm not holding my breath. I expect this to kind of go down the same path that it usually goes down. They're trying to win the deal. It's not about getting their best player under contract and getting it done with and building around it. It's about trying to salvage a mil or two or salvage a year or two or whatever it may be for the benefit of the front office instead of the benefit of the team. It'll get done. He'll be signed here long term. This whole trade talk is goofy to me. The guy, he's not getting traded. They don't do that. And it's stupid to do that. But I don't expect this thing to be done in February, March. I would love to be wrong. I would love to be wrong on this one. And if I am wrong, I'll probably have an emergency podcast where we're talking about it and it's celebrating Micah getting his deal done. But I kind of wanted to just touch on that. Cowboys Nation, your thoughts on this whole thing. If you wanted to call in, you can. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. But this isn't, appreciate that, Olympus Fitness. This isn't something that if we see this kind of get dragged, this isn't new, number one. And number two, please, for the love of all that is football gods, do not side with this ownership. I don't know what more evidence you need to see, but there are people who side with the ownership when it comes to these things. Just take a step back real quick. Look around the rest of the National Football League. You'll see other teams get these type of deals. And now sometimes you'll have a holdout. You'll have a Nick Bosa happen, right? You'll have that happens. But perpetually doing this over and over and over and over and over again, there's only one team that does that. The Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys. AG said, is there anything signaling any of the patterns will change next year? Real question. No, I don't think so. And I think, and the reason why is because of what Steven already came out and said. He already planted those seeds, right? And that's what kind of started this. We already called out the media last week of the whole trade thing. And then now the media is pressing Micah and Micah. I don't think Micah was throwing a shot because Micah speaks from the heart. He, like I said, he wears his emotions. He's just being real and authentic. And I think people don't like that. And he came out and said, look, I want this done. I want this done because I want you guys to get guys in free agency. I want to build this. Excuse me. I want to build this thing. I don't want y'all using no excuses of me. Not respected. Boss Cowboy. What's good with you, man? Good morning.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good. Let me turn it down a little bit so we can make sure we hear you loud and clear. Sound like you on your way to work or something.
Yes, sir.
Get to the money, brother. What's your thoughts on this? Because I know you're going to probably have a show where you're breaking a lot of this down, and I'll definitely be checking that out. But just kind of your quick thoughts on the Micah Parsons situation.
Yeah, I was thinking about covering this, and I just want to say, like, obviously to all the content creators, we got to be very careful on how we address Micah, because everything that's going to happen with Micah during this season can and will be used against him. So we got to be responsible. I see people sometimes, they kind of going in on Micah and different things. Some of this stuff is like frivolous. So just, I think we need to do a better job of keeping what reporting important. And one of the most important things about Michael Parsons is the obvious impact of the field. So I'm not doing definitely no content on he needs to be a better leader. I don't care if he missed OTAs, he could. I don't give a damn about none of that.
I don't cover none of that stuff.
Absolutely, bro, because the timing is bad. Because, we can be righteous in what we're trying to do, but we also giving fodder and we giving fuel to people that's going to use it against us. So I want to say that first, The only thing that I want to also, the only thing that I kind of have, a problem with is I want the best for Micah, and I just hope that he's not moving independently of his agent. Now, if him and his agent, if they drew up this play on the whiteboard, then go for it. You know what I mean? To where we're going to strategically use my resources and my podcast and my ability to kind of put the pressure on them, then I'm all for it. But if Micah can move,
if I may quickly, boss, I don't think this was a strategic thing, and I don't think he's moving independently. I just think this is Micah Parsons being genuine in a question that was asked to him or constantly asked to him. And if we listen to the whole response, I don't think he said anything wrong. I just think he was being genuine. Now, if you want to say, hey, you got to be careful what you say because they may hold that against you in negotiations, well, I have my rebuttal to that. But I don't think this is him moving independently of David, and I don't think this is David saying, hey, let's do this, because it came off very genuine and kind of on the spot, if you will.
So I put it like this. Nobody's going to hire Johnny Cochran and then defend themselves or talk about their case. To me, it's always safer when you let the professionals work.
100%.
Because some of this is like you kind of taking away the tools of your agent. When you start saying, I'm not going to hold out, you kind of taking away the tool that your agent would use to try to put the pressure on the Joneses. And me and you would understand, because obviously we do a lot of research, and I think we go always try to be fair and balanced on how this really stuff is playing out in this, sausage making process of trying to get your money. But the normal fan is not going to understand what they go do to him, Scott. They go blame him and they go use his words against him, right? And that's what I'm concerned about, because the biggest commodity to me, to Michael Parsons' future, is also the support of the fans. So, because you got a podcast, Micah, if you got a podcast, bro, you got to be real careful, because if they able to make you look greedy, now me and Scott gonna say, no, that's BS. We gonna see right through it. But millions of fans, if you kind of move too quick and too sloppy in the public, they go treat you like the Zico thing. It's so many people that's mad at Dak, that's mad at CeeDee Lamb, just because they did what they needed to do to get their generational wealth and not miss a penny of it. So that would be my only concern. But I also want to make sure that I circle back and say, I'm the person and you the person, and hopefully the other people are the people that don't fall for the BS that any of this frivolous stuff matters to what's important. That's its impact of the field. So I'm not going to spend no time on that. I'm glad you don't spend no time on that. I just want him to say, like I would say to him, bro, don't speak from the heart. When they throw stuff at you about your money, just say, hey, I got a guy to take care of that. You know, obviously that's above my pay grade, you know, and, you know, I'm going to let him work, and then we going to figure it out. But my heart is here. My feet is where my, you know how they say, my feet is where my, you know, that bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, but just
let me say this, boss.
Generic,
let me say this, boss. And I said this earlier, a few minutes ago. If this was Osa Digizua, this was Chauncey Golston, if this was Jalen Tolbert, if this was anybody else, I think there's a lot of merit to that. This is Micah Parsons. Micah is a confident, I think arrogant. But when I say arrogant, I mean it's the good arrogant, right? You need that kind of arrogance to be great, right? Right, and he's heading his way to be a 4-time All-Pro. I truly do not believe him saying something, and this is where we're going to be on different sides with it. I do not believe him saying something in this light will affect a single penny when he goes into that room to sit down to sign a contract, because of two things. He's one of, if not the best at what he does, and number two, well, three things really. Number two, he has the best agent in the world, and number three, Dak Prescott pretty much did the same damn thing, and he still got paid, and he still showed up to camp. So if this was maybe anybody else, I would 100% be on board. But because it's Micah and the situation and the player he is, the production he is, the representation he has, it would take something astronomical for him to say something that will affect him in negotiations. And it'd have to be like real bad, bro. I'm talking about like cancel, cut type of bad. And that's my only pushback on that, boss. Right. I hear what you're saying. I just think with this player, it's going to be hard for him to say something wrong enough to where it'll affect him in negotiations.
Yeah. And you right on that. That's for sure. You right on that. It's like he's got so much leverage and stuff like that. Brother, like Vilma already. I mean, like, and I'm gonna be quick because I know you got off the call and got a show to do. So no, I'm gonna just say you're definitely right on that, because his impact from even being on the field has generated so many sacks. It's like, how can you not really just pay him based on his value alone? So he gonna get paid, but I'm more so looking at the fact of the long play of how they're going to try to muddy you in the public. That's what he needs to be careful of.
Yeah, I said that to his peoples. I said, I hate this because I warned his fam, like, hey man, they're gonna love him right now. It's gonna be great. But when it's time to get paid,
they gonna hate him tomorrow.
Get ready. And that's why I was like, look, I'm in the media now, so if you need somebody to rap to, I'm here. But I was like, listen, they're gonna try to muddy your name, like you said, for sure.
Yeah, and let me just say one more thing too, man, because we know this. Because these did a team friendly deal, and now what are people doing right now, Sky? Everybody looking at his contract saying, "Oh, it looks like he don't got a lot of damn cap here. Maybe we can trade him." Now, this is the same person who gave you a team friendly deal, so it's so obvious that we're turning on you in a heartbeat. Mm-hmm. It was only one more thing that I'm gonna say about this whole situation. A lot of people agree with the F Philly. I don't agree with it. Micah needs to be a little bit more careful, because what he's doing is he's writing a check that his teammates out of cash, and I would want him to kind of like, and I get it, what he said was genuine, it's true, but you also gave Philly bulletin board material, and I wanted us to sneak up on Philly. I didn't want us to excite Philly, you know what I mean? And his word excites Philly against Dallas.
So boss, I love when you do this on your show in regards to, you're from Dallas, right? So there's a mentality and there's a aura, there's a swagger that's different. You from Oak Cliff, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely.
Okay, so me and Micah are from PA. Grew up Cowboy fans, right outside of Philadelphia. Yeah. All what you saying, we ain't trying to hear none of that. It's always Philly. Okay? It's always gonna be Philly. Okay, so that energy you talk about in Dallas, where, hey man, you just don't quite understand because you're not from Dallas, and you're right, we don't, brother. We don't fool with Philly like that up there either. So I don't care who we play for, it's always gonna be Philly. That's all I gotta say.
No. It's definitely F Philly over here all day long. It's just
It
that
hit
when you in
different
the
though up there, bro. It
space,
hit different up there. It hit different.
I'm with you, bro. But to me, that's why I was kind of side with the Belichick approach, to where when you have a public voice, you do not put any kind of material out there that can motivate your opponent. That's it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. That's why Belichick used to sit them boys. Like if they said something about them opponents, because he made it clear. And listen, I'm like him too. I love Muhammad Ali style. Well, I tell you I'm finna whoop you in 6 rounds, and I do it. But the issue is, I can do that. But when you say that, can Bland do that? Can also do that? You see what I'm saying? And that's all. I just want him to just kind of keep that.
Uh-oh.
And we gonna be Philly. We'll let Philly be Philly. That's all I would want him to do, just so we can pick up on it. Well, appreciate it, bro. You do a great job in our way. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, I'm gonna be leaning on you, bro, big time on your coaching, bro. You do such a great job of really breaking down our opportunities in coaching, bro. It's so fluid when you break it down.
Thank you, brother.
And I think that's where you're extremely undervalued, bro. And I can't wait till you really get into, the time is not now, but if we get to that point, I can't wait till you really start breaking down potential opportunities for coaching, bro. I'm really looking for that. From you, bro.
I hope I'm allowed to do it in the sense that we actually go and search for a new coach, because I got a strange feeling, a weird feeling that we just gonna run it back, brother. But appreciate the call, boss.
Absolutely, bro. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Keep it up, big dog.
Yeah, you too, man. That's Boss Cowboys Sports, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure I go check him out on his platform, Boss Cowboys. He is what I would say is the best investigative journalist in our space. I'm surprised he's not a journalist, to be honest with you, because he does a fantastic job of investigating and then articulating what he investigated and researched on his show. So make sure to go check him out. Yeah, man. I hear what Boss saying. Be careful, because you don't know if now Bland and Osa is there. I think those guys can do, but you don't know if a Ghostin or if a Mozzie or Maris Leofau, these guys have that same mentality. But I'm just here to tell you right now, it's always Philly. And I think it's hilarious that Eagle fans, they still do this. And even some Cowboy fans are oblivious to the situation. Oh, well, he's from Philly. Or first of all, he's not from Philadelphia, number one. Yes, he's outside of Philly. He did not grow up an Eagles fan. I know there's you could just go look at the NFL footage, the NFL Films footage, where he was like, he was praying he didn't get drafted by Philly. Real life Cowboy fan. Dad grew up real life diehard Cowboy fan. He grew up Cowboy fan. And they want him to be a Philadelphia Eagle fan so that he can be traded or cut, or not cut, but sign with the Eagles, whatever. But now that he said that, I'm seeing these, oh, well, we ain't want Micah. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying about the lying. You do the Photoshop Eagle stuff. Oh, they ain't treating you right in Dallas. Micah, come to Philly. Micah. That whole thing, right? They want Micah Parsons, but it ain't happening. Yes, Roka, he's from Harrisburg. Yeah. Hey, some people might not. One thing I always do, D-Shift, you say how some of y'all don't know, boss. Some people don't follow every single content. It's so, brother, when I tell you this space is so saturated right now, it's so many content creators in this space that I don't think it's possible to know every single last one. And I know he's among the top ones in the lane, but that don't mean nothing. When I go on somebody else's platform, they may not know who I am. There's times where I go there and somebody will say, hey, I found you on somebody else's thing. Now I've been following you, et cetera, et cetera. So you just never know, man. INC, you said I'm capping that Philly energy extends to who? Coca shaking? What Philly energy? What are you talking about? I don't get what you're talking about here, bro. If you are not an Eagles fan, and honestly, now he's a Sixers fan, but if you're not an Eagles fan and you grew up a Cowboys fan, If you are from Harrisburg, you will know you can't go anywhere. You can't go to any sports bar anywhere. It's Eagles, 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 Eagles. All your friends are Eagle fans or Steeler fans. Got Cowboy fans too. It's usually Pittsburgh, Philly, and Cowboys. You grow up having to fight your ass off as a Cowboy fan against these Eagle fans. I don't give a damn how much of their culture may leak into Harrisburg. Sports, it does not mix. You could be a Flyers fan but a Cowboys fan, but you are not fooling with the Eagles. So that Eagle or Philly energy does not mix in if you are a Cowboys fan from Harrisburg. Absolutely not, brother. I can tell you from personal experience, that is a real rivalry, and it's really Philly. Straight up. Straight like that. That's not me just guessing. That's real life. Before I came down here. Before we break this down, I got a couple other callers. 100 grand, what's up with you?
Man, listen. I got an ex that lived in PA, that lived in Allentown. That's Philly. Allentown, Pennsylvania, that's Philly. That's an hour away from Philly, about an hour, 45 minutes on a perfect drive.
Brother,
That's Philly Nation right there. That's all you see. Philly, Philly, Philly. Why? Philly signs on the wall. That's Philly. So when you a Cowboys fan out there, it's F Philly all day. All day,
bro. Like like nowhere, everywhere you go in PA, it's like 4 teams for real. If you wanna include the Giants, 5, but it's usually Eagles, Pittsburgh, Cowboys, Washington, and you got Giants because a lot of New Yorkers.
You'll sneak Giants in.
That's what I'm saying.
Because Giants again, Allentown, all that. That's an hour away from New York, so they're right there. So you'll sneak the Giants in right there. So when you
can't go nowhere, bro. You can't go nowhere without seeing it, fam.
Nowhere. My ex is a diehard Eagles fan. You know how the arguments we used to have? Man, listen. The whole family.
No,
I mean,
so
tickets
T-Roy,
to the games and everything.
T-Roy, you're right. Like it's not. So what I think what 100 grand is saying is it's Philadelphia Eagle country, but it's not Philly the city. Like that's why I was trying to explain it to INC. Like Philly, the city is not Harrisburg. It's not Allentown. It's not any York. It's not any of those.
This is outside.
But sports fandom that is heavily in that state, 100%. Especially if you're close to Philly. So if you grow up a rival fan, bro, when I tell you it's the worst, it's the worst.
And even when you're not in Pennsylvania, people don't know this, but Jersey is actually split. If you in South Jersey, that's Philly. You're Philly all day long. South Jersey is Philly. North Jersey is Giants. People don't know that, but it's split like that, period. If you in South Jersey, you get the Philly games. You Philly over there, and they Philly fans over there. North Jersey is Giants. It's real, yo.
And just imagine 100 grand. Like you grow up with that, and then you get drafted to the Cowboys, right? So you're literally in the rivalry, man. It's always gonna be like that's never gonna. They know that over there, and it's really fun in games though because he actually has good friends on it, right? Saquon Barkley, Lane Johnson, like he has good. But and that's what I find, like, and this isn't about boss, but there are probably people who say, hey, they don't say that, but. If he does, then the opposite of, hey man, Barkley's my guy, Lane's my guy, people get mad. So
y'all getting on him. Y'all getting on him. When he had Slay on the podcast, y'all was getting on him. These are the same people that told, man, why the players don't have the same passion as us fans. Now they display that passion.
Oh, Micah does.
Problem. Come on, man. No, I'm talking about when he was sniping jerseys. When he was sniping jerseys and he.
Hold on, bro. My old barber / coach, baseball coach back in the day hit me up. He just texted me. He texted me. He said, "Philly, dog." It's not real. I'm trying to tell y'all. If you grew it, like my man Lee in the building said, Philly. Like if you from the Berg, it really is that energy. It's just that simple, man. It's just that simple. I can't explain it. Just like I can't speak on behalf of Dallas. Like energy and aura because I've only been for 4 years. I ain't grow up down here. I'm telling y'all from experience up there, man. It'll always be that no matter where he go.
It's fuck Philly. It's fuck Philly. Just like here, it's fuck the Giants. This is y'all might not don't have that same energy, but when you are
No,
in
he
that
got the
area,
energy. He's just saying, don't say it. I'm like, Micah. Micah is a really real life. He a fan at heart, bro. He plays this sport. You know the cliche, man. You're playing a kid's sport. He plays it that way, man. But he attacks it in a professional way, in the sense of he works his ass off. He wants to be great. He wants to go down as a Hall of Famer, et cetera, et cetera. But he plays and speaks and moves in the sense with other people. Like he'll talk to the media like he'll talk to you in regards to football. He's not a politically correct guy, and sometimes that could bite him in the ass because the media is never out to be your friend. They'll try to grab a headline, but when you understand that's just who he is, I feel like
I'm glad that he talked like that.
Yeah, I feel like you'll be able to.
I'm glad that he talked like that,
Yeah.
and I'm glad that he said that. Man, the same people that said that is the same people. Why you got Slay on your podcast? Why you trading jerseys? Man, why you don't have that passion? Man, blah, blah, blah. Now he says that. Now they doing the 360. I don't respect that, man. Like, come on, bro. I don't respect that. If you going to want people to have the passion and say, hey, man, to have that energy and have that alpha, man, come on, you're supposed to be the leader and keep that.
Yeah.
Don't when he come out and have that and say that, man, I don't know. Come on, bro. Stop it.
Now, I personally.
It seems like people go on the other side of things that other people like to do. Nah, bro, cause you are, yo. I know.
Honey,
like
hey,
that,
honey, let's move some. Let's move some real quick. let's take it back a little bit. 100 grand about to shoot up the chat, man. Relax, bro. Goddamn.
Man. You know what I'm saying? I don't respect it, bro. I don't respect it, man.
All right, 100 grand. Let's get your thoughts. Let's just your quick thoughts on this game, man. Cowboys Bucks. Give me my 100 grand guarantee.
Mama. Bucks gonna beat us, man. Bucks gonna get us, man.
Yeah, I don't have the Cowboys getting this dub, but we'll see.
Yeah, the Bucks gonna get us, and then the same people gonna come out and say it's because of Micah and what he said. No, Micah could have that passion and come out and say that, but it's other people.
100 grand, they saying you crashing out, bro. They say 100 grand crashing out. Hey, dog, relax, man.
Nah, I'm being real though.
Look, 100 grand. Let me keep it moving, bro.
People go. But you gotta have somebody on that team that said, all right, yo, let's go. We gotta get. It's at the end of the day, it's a rivalry. That Philly and Cowboys rivalry been there before all these players was even on the team.
Hey, Daz went out there. Daz went out there before the game and gave him the ultimate. What do you call it? Bulletin board material when he got in Malcolm Jenkins' face. Yeah.
Right. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Remember when we had coaches fighting with players?
Yeah.
So guys don't have to come out and say anything.
100 grand. I ain't trying to trigger you again. I ain't trying to trigger you again. I ain't trying to trigger you again, big dog. Because the New York about to come out and you about to Luigi this whole chat. So we need to chill out. Let me get to this breakdown real quick so I can get to a couple of these other callers, man. Because we could do the whole show on this, but I want to at least give y'all what we came here for today, and that's the breakdown of this Bucks defense.
Right.
Appreciate you, big dog.
Boy. No doubt.
100 grand came through. I hate Philly though, man. I can't. Y'all know this though. Y'all been around for a long time. I can't stand these dudes. But let's talk about the team that beat Philly earlier in the year, and I don't want to say sent them into a tailspin because they figured the stuff out, right? But it made them go back to the drawing board. That's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we talked about their offense yesterday, which is prolific, which I think is the toughest offense the Cowboys will have seen since the Detroit Lions. So if Micah and his pride and stop them and Mike Zimmer, man, I think that would be their greatest accomplishment this season on that side of the ball, excuse me. Because this is the best offense they will have seen to date since the Detroit game. And you can argue it's up there with the Lions for real, if you want to keep it a bean. I think they have their coordinators are really good. Their quarterbacks, while not the elite guys, but are playing really good. Their run games are elite. Offensive line's good. But this Bucs defense is very interesting because if you go look at the last 4 weeks, I mean, they're balling out right now. I mean, you're talking about they're holding teams to average of 15 points per game on this 4-game winning streak. But I must be real and put a caveat to it, right? That it is against bad offenses. But Cowboys Nation, be real. Are the Cowboys offense a bad offense? Or is the Cowboys offense a bad offense? I still think the Cowboys offense, I would categorize it as a bad offense that has had favorable matchups, right? And that's fine. It doesn't matter really how you get it done. But the Bucs come in feasting off of bad offenses, feasting off of quarterbacks who aren't like that, right? Except last week. Last week, if you said, well, Sky, they only beat the Giants. They only beat the who was it? The Panthers and the Raiders. I say you're right. Sure. But last week, they got after one of the golden boys at the quarterback position everybody loves, Justin Herbert. So if you want to say, well, ignore the Raiders game, ignore the Giants game, fine. Go watch the Chargers game. And I think you'll come away impressed with this defense and how they attacked Justin Herbert. He struggled mightily when he was pressured. Per NFL Pro, they pressured Justin Herbert really just 10 times per NFL Pro. But he completed 2 passes for 7 yards, was sacked 3 times, and threw an interception. That's Justin Herbert, ladies and gentlemen. Not Cooper Rush, Justin Herbert. I don't think Todd Bowles is going to let Cooper Rush just sit back there. Even though he's not a prolific passer, I think it'd be a mistake to just say, you know what? We'll just rush 4 all day and just sit back. That's not what they do. They're third in blitz percentage on the season. And the way they do it is really good, man. Like we give Zim a ton of credit, as we should, for simulated pressures. Bowles does it too. He'll simulate pressure one way and send it the other way. It'll look like he's not sending pressure at all. They did that multiple times against Justin Herbert, where it just looks like a standard base defense. The next thing you know, he's sending 6. So the pressure is going to be there from a blitz standpoint. Teams haven't really blitzed Cooper Rush all crazy like that. And when they have, he hasn't been the greatest in doing so. There's a stat per NFL Pro. The Buccaneers have generated 105 quick pressures this season, the second most in the NFL. And their 2.57 seconds average time to pressure ranks the 4th quickest in the league. Cooper Rush has averaged just 4.8 yards per attempt when under pressure, the 5th fewest in the NFL. I highly doubt Todd Bowles, who can be a maniac when it comes to pressuring the quarterback and blitzing, is going to say, you know what? We'll take it easy on Cooper Rush. They're going to dial this thing up. He's not a mobile quarterback. He's struggled against the pressure in regards to getting the ball past 5 yards. It is Mike McCarthy is going to have to get in his bag in this one to get a little bit more creative to keep this pressure off. And obviously, they're going to have to run the ball a little bit better too, right? Well, I say better. I don't mean to run the ball bad, but they're going to have to run the ball well, better than other teams have done it over the last few weeks. The Bucs have allowed just 3.5 yards per carry to running backs the last 5 weeks and just 1 touchdown. The touchdown you ain't got to worry about. We don't get rushing touchdowns. I don't know what it is, but we got like 2 on the season. So Cowboys don't get rushing touchdowns with their running backs. But when it comes to actually running the rock, the Bucs are weird. They load the box at 58.5% 6.2% of plays this season. That is the highest rate in the NFL per next gen stats. Under Todd Bowles, they've loaded the box at the third highest rate over the last couple seasons. The Cowboys have averaged just 3.4 yards per carry against teams that load the box, the fifth fewest in the NFL. So they're going to have to find this balance of, okay, if the Bucs are loading up the box, does Cooper Rush, because this is something I saw going around on Twitter today, Cooper Rush doesn't change the plays at the line of scrimmage, et cetera, like Dak did, all that stuff. That's all fine and dandy. But if they're going to give you 8-9 men boxes, Rush is going to have to take advantage of what could possibly be man coverage on the back end. However, this Bucs team plays a lot of zone coverage. Another statistic per next gen stats, Rush has been playing very well against man coverage since week 11, but against zone coverage, he's only averaging 5.2 yards per attempt, and the Bucs play zone 84% of the time. That's the second highest rate in the NFL, and they've allowed the fewest yards per attempt when playing zone. So what you'll see a lot is the Bucs, and I should have grabbed some plays for y'all. They'll zone blitz. They'll send 5 guys, 6 guys, but on this side it's zone. And if you go watch that LA game, like I said, you'll see there's man coverage on one-on-one on one side. Then they're playing a cover 2 or 3 on this side. And Eli McConkey's wide ass open, but Herbert can't get to him because the pressure is there. He's scattering around. Boom, sack. Hurry throw. Boom, pick. It's going to be really interesting to see just how much pressure they send at Coop, which to counter, maybe this is one of those games where the Cowboys cannot think, oh, well, if you go look at their cornerback and safety situation with injuries, we can throw the ball over the park. This is still Cooper Rush. The man cannot throw the ball 20 yards down the field consistently for big plays. So a lot of these plays are going to be line of scrimmage, screens, quick slants, right in front of you, 5 yards, 6 yards, and then that occasional just lollipop throw deep. And if you happen to get into the red zone, the Bucs are 10th in the NFL in red zone defense. But if you happen to get there, then you don't have to worry so much about deep throws. So matriculating down the field is something they'll have to do, but they'll have to lean on the run game. This needs to be like a 35-40 attempt type game because the Bucs will dial it the hell up. And if they dial it up, I can't foresee Cooper Rush escaping pressure and dotting guys up all game. This is going to have to be a situation where you want Coop throwing 20, 25 times, efficient, and getting the ball out quick, and just, even if he doesn't throw a touchdown, just don't throw the interceptions, right? Lean on the ground game. And I say throw a touchdown, he's going to have to throw a touchdown. We don't get running touchdown. Lean on the ground, minimize the potential opportunities to make a mistake, meaning dropbacks. And then when you get a third and favorable, second and favorable type of situation, maybe you try to take a hit, play action, deep over, et cetera, et cetera. This is a game where I'm getting Turpin, 5-6 touches. Lamb is getting 15 targets, and probably 8 of them targets is coming at the line of scrimmage. Quick slant type situations, right in front of me type situations. Or if I get the one-on-one, I'll go to him. Coop, and when I say 6 touches to Turpin, you don't have to all be at receiver. It could be in the backfield too. Rico's getting another 20-plus touch day. And your tight ends are going to have to be big time in this one from a pass catching standpoint and run blocking standpoint. I don't expect this one to be and it hasn't really been under Cooper Rush, a Jalen Tolbert game, a Brandon Cooks game. I don't see him being able to go, and he doesn't do this anyway, going to wide receiver 2-3 or read 2-3. Cooper Rush has been very 1-2-3 by hook or crook. CeeDee Lamb, you're getting this target. Or if we're in the red zone running around and throwing it somewhere. But it hasn't been, hey, Tolbert, here's 6 targets. Hey, Cooks, here's 5 targets. Hey, tight ends, here's 10 targets. It's been Lamb, Rico, tight ends. It hasn't been spreading the wealth. That's not how it's been. So this matchup, the Cowboys have a better shot, I think, actually, no. I'm gonna say the Cowboys defense, even though this is a tough Bucs offense. I think the way they're playing, Mike Zimmer, Micah, guys healthier, confident. I think that one they'll have a better shot at matching serve. I think they'll have a better shot at matching serve. Now, if you get 4 turnovers like in Carolina, all things changes now because now you're giving your offense 4 at-bats, short fields, and you give I don't give a damn who the offense is, how bad it's playing. You give any offense 4 at-bats, half of those or more are short fields, you're going to get points, especially with Brandon Aubrey. Cooper Rush, here we are. Let's get back to the phone lines, man. Talk to our original OG, aka the OG.
Hey,
B Bird, what's up, brother?
What's up, Scott? Can you hear me, man?
Got you loud and clear. How you doing?
Okay. All right. I haven't heard the whole show, but I did hear you talking about the Joneses earlier. And I did want to comment on something. I think I always say this, that the Joneses kind of take negotiations personal because it's their money. And I think a lot of people, you might gloss over that because it's like, oh, it's all the owner's money. But let me explain. I want to give you an analogy if I could.
Sure.
So Scott, you're in the suburbs and ABC approaches you and 2 of your neighbors and say, hey, I see y'all don't have a pool in y'all backyard. Well, we started this reality show where we're going to see who designs the best pool. But what we're going to give y'all is $300,000 to design a pool, each one of y'all. And the winner of this, who we deem the best one, has the best design, is going to win another $200,000 just to put in their pocket. Well, Scott, you and your wife start designing the pools, and your neighbors do too. But are you going to spend the whole $300,000, or would you spend $150,000? And it's ABC's money.
Cut corners, try to make it look good for $150,000, then pocket that extra $150,000. I hear what you're saying.
No. You don't get to keep. You don't get to keep the money.
So it goes back to ABC.
Yeah.
Well, I would try to spend it off. I ain't getting none of it.
That's right. Right. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but let me ask you a question. So here's the other scenario. You and your wife have $300,000 saved up. Are you going to spend all that money on a pool?
Nah.
See, that's your money.
Mm.
You see, that's what we're facing. The first situation is the GM. It's not their money. They're going to spend everything up to the cap they can. It's not their money. It's the owner's money.
They almost have to. Yeah, have to spend like 90-some%.
Yeah, they have to. They have to spend. Yeah, they got to spend this money.
They have to spend.
I'm feeling.
They have to allocate cap dollars, but there is something. There is cash spending that is their money, like you're probably getting at here. That's the part where the Cowboys, I think, do take it personally, because when we talk about this a lot, when you have the money men whose number one goal is the bottom line of the business mixing in with the football part of the situation, that is not a good mesh, because the thought process in those negotiations or in the moves you make or the guys you sign or whatever, at the end of the day, the business guy, the businessman, the owner is trying to look out for the bottom line in that sense. Whereas a GM's bottom line is football. It's not money.
It's winning.
Yeah, it's winning on the football
it's
field.
W's and L's.
Yeah, so they're mixing these two. And they have their own internal battles. And I don't even think it's a battle anymore. I think we all know Jerry and Steven. No. It's always about, well, bottom line, can we save $1 here, $1 there? And we'll be relevant. We'll win games, but we'll never, ever go out and try to get over the hump with certain players. Because once you run into those teams that do that type of stuff, they pretty much always lose. Or coaches, per se.
That's the thing. Absolutely. Because what you're dealing against, you're going against a desperate guy. I don't want to say desperate in that manner, but what I'm saying is the GM that's putting together a team under pressure, man. Mm-hmm. He has to go get this. He has to go get these guys. Why? My wife we stay in a gated community. I got 4 kids, 2 in college, 2 in high school, private school. I got maids. I got all this stuff. I got to win to keep this stuff. I don't just show up to keep this stuff. And so that's what you're facing. And one of the things too is that the back and forth that should happen between a GM and an owner to get players on the team, whereas the owner might say, no, that's just too much. Or the GM convinces the owner to get a player when that's one guy, y'all, there's no back and forth.
But that
either
that shouldn't happen. That B-Bird, the GM and the owner shouldn't be going back and forth about maybe a certain player, maybe like a quarterback or something like that. I can understand. Yeah. But for the most part, it should be, hey, you're my general manager. Go build the team. I hired you to build the team. Now you're running to like the Woody Johnson stuff, and the Jerry Jones stuff, and the Mike Brown stuff, where these guys are like, no, every decision run past me. I may not have a strong opinion on it. I may let you acquiesce, but you're going to run these decisions past me. Oh, and sometimes I'm not going to run the decision past you. And that just doesn't, I don't think it's a coincidence why, Cincinnati for so long operating the way they did, it didn't work. Why the Cowboys, it's not working. Why the Jets, it's not working. I don't think that's a coincidence.
That's correct. No, it's not a
Washington,
coincidence at all.
Same thing.
That's right. That's right. Washington is getting it right now,
yeah.
And you kind of see the turnaround. And so I just wanted everybody to understand what we're facing, man. We're facing guys that look out for the bottom line. And I know that's said, but I want to kind of give an analogy to show you how it actually looks and how it actually works out, man. It does not work out to the betterment of us, but what it does work out to is the bottom line. The OC said this a long time ago, is that Stephen Jones runs his organization like an accountant. You can't do that and win.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? You'll be great in business
100%.
By keeping things afloat and keeping things profitable. But as far as this is a competition league, you're trying to win number one. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to get, we're the number 7 company in it. No, we're not trying to do that. We're trying to win number one.
Corporate Cowboys.
And that's what correct. Yeah, corporate Cowboys, correct. And so I just wanted to I heard you talking about it a little bit. I wanted to expound on that a little bit, man, and bring an analogy to it that hopefully people can understand why we are where we are, because we got people that, hey, they look out their bottom line, and everybody. Also, too, man, this is the last thing I'll say, is that's why they take negotiations personal. That's why, you go get Trey Lance because you're mad because of the Dak thing isn't. No other GM would have done that, man. That's why they negotiate in the media. No other GM can negotiate in the media and alienate his franchise quarterback because he has to work with them. But they alienate guys and throw them under the bus and all that. Why? Because it's their money. They don't want to lose. You said this earlier. They want to win the negotiation. If they don't, they get butthurt behind that.
They hate lose. Oh man,
they hate losing.
It's personal. It is personal, if they lose the negotiation, brother.
Think about this, and this is the last thing I'll say. If I'm a GM and it's the owner's money, how the hell I'm gonna get personal about somebody else's money? But that's where we ought to be. You know what I'm saying? That's why this GM ownership thing, it's Stephen Jones, his family, mom and pop thing, don't work, man. Hey, man, you have a great weekend, man. If I don't talk to you before Christmas and New Year's, you have that, and for all your A to Z fans, man, y'all enjoy it too.
I appreciate you, B-Bird. I'm gonna hit you up too via. Well, I gotta hit you up on Twitter, I guess, but usually we email. But I'm gonna hit you up, man. Got some news to talk to you about. But did you say before you go out here?
All right, do that.
B-Bird, did you say you got maids?
Who?
You got some maids? You got maids and stuff?
No.
Oh, you was using the analogy because I'm like, damn, he got money.
Well, now hold on. Let me. Well, now I don't have maids, but I do have a cleaning service come by.
Okay. All right.
But that ain't a maid.
B-Bird said I still got money now. What y'all talking about?
Yeah, I've been blessed. That's all I can say.
My bad. Appreciate you, OG. I ain't gonna hold you. Man. I heard B-Bird say, yeah, man, I got the maids and everything. I'm like, hold on, B-Bird got maids? I'm about to go down. What, you in the Houston area, right, man? B-Bird got to show me around what you do to get maids. All right, brother. I'm about to be Steven. Hey, I'm about to be Catboy up in this mother. What B-Bird got going on down there? I need to get in that business. I'm in the wrong goddamn business. But appreciate my OG coming through. Let me. Yeah, exactly. To where the goddamn minute now, maids. I got callers that got maids. I got bomb squad members with maids. Oh, you got to share the wealth. How do we get here? How do I get there? Let me play this for y'all real quick. Cut the goddamn music off. If you didn't see, is that big enough? Yeah, you could just hear it. You ain't gotta. This is the Netflix teaser, the trailer for the America's Team The Gambler and His Cowboys, the definitive story of Jerry Jones, his Dallas Cowboys, and the twists and turns on the road to becoming the most valuable sports franchise in the world. Take a listen.
This is our story.
And if you ask anybody where I live,
It's bigger than winning football games.
Dallas Cowboys.
They became America's team.
America's team.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Let's go.
Do they have an idea what they're doing?
What did you prove?
Yes.
Keep them talking.
I'm all the way up.
It's a soap opera, 365 days a year. It's a soap opera, 365 days a year.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. I'm all the way up.
It's a soap opera, 365 days a year.
Nothing.
I don't want to hear. You know what I'm going to do? And I got other evidence, but I'm clipping that. And if anybody come in here putting on the cape for these damn Joneses, all I'm going to do is just... What you say now, Chuck? What?
It's a soap opera, 365 days a year.
I don't want to hear nothing else. End of discussion. Keep them talking. I'm doing my job. It's a soap opera 365. And if who was the other guy? Was it Q or whatever? I say it all the time. If you feel like you want to put the cape on, you're more than welcome to call in. 351-999-3787, bro. Oh boy, and we could talk about it, but I'm just waiting for the moment that all of Cowboys Nation understands the real issue here and stop trying to blame anybody else. Seriously. Even me, I don't like the coach. Right? I want a new coach, but I'm not stupid. I don't think he's the main issue here. I just don't think he's the guy to overcome that guy. But if you start the conversation with, hey man, we're at a huge disadvantage already. Because this ain't 1995. This ain't, oh man, come play for the Star. This ain't that no more. These dudes is getting paid in Jacksonville. They're getting commercials in Cleveland. Now, some people will buy that. And to an extent, you do get opportunities clearly around here in the DFW area that you wouldn't have around here if you played for Buffalo. But I bet you Josh Allen is doing fine in Buffalo making extra bread. You see him on prime commercials looking like a gladiator and whatnot. Now, what he does have is he has that business aspect, and he does sell that to his players, right? Like, hey, man, you take a little, shut a little off here. We can get into the real estate business and this and that. And to be fair, if you want to argue with that, fine. But that ain't enough for me. Ain't enough for me. But yeah, if you want to put the cape on for this dude, by all means, him and his son, by all means, do so. I'll fight you every single time. Until they give me a reason not to fight against them, I'll fight for them. But I'll be damned if I'm going to fight for the devil. And I digress. Good show today. Appreciate Boss calling in. Patrick Nosey Walker, if you missed the scientific method, he dropped some good nuggets on the whole Micah Parsons thing, injury report. You know how we do when he comes through. Heading over here, making sure I didn't miss any supers. Oh, I definitely missed some supers. Shouts out to our guy, Jay, man. He dropped a dub.
Super chat.
He said, Stephen Jones is going to hit Micah with a 10-year lowball deal. And if they do sign someone early in free agency, would you sign Khalil Mack? Well, Jay, if he was negotiating with Micah, maybe. But he negotiated with David Muliata. Am I saying that right? He negotiated with athletes first. He's not. Have you seen the list of his athletes that got paid? Yeah, that's not happening. Micah's about to get a dumb bag. A dumb bag. So 10 year, if it's 10 year, maybe 500 million like Patrick Mahomes, but this ain't going to be a 10 year, $150 million type deal. No. No, sir. David Mooley, Mr. David is probably going to get him a nice 4 or 5 year deal. And by the time Micah's 31, he's going to come right back to the table, if not sooner, and get another bag. Oh, yeah. They got this down pat, brother. They got this down pat. Appreciate you, Matt. He dropped 5.
Super chat.
He said, good show, bro. See you Sunday. Yes, sir. If you don't know, now you know. Me and Jesse Holly, we are back as usual, wrapping up the season at Canvas Sports and Social for Cowboy Game Day Live Sunday night. So I don't know if y'all peep the post game show or anybody that comes to the post game show. You'll hear us start off normal and then the DJ just turn it up and it go crazy. The DJ will probably be there by halftime, so it'll be the energy will be high. I think it's a very underrated spot. It's growing into a very underrated spot to come to check out Cowboys games and also kind of have that kind of party feel vibe. So at the very least, if you want to come through, check us out, me and Jesse, as we watch this one Sunday night. Appreciate you, Ron. Drop the 5.
Super chat.
Micah setting them up for pay me early so you can pay others. Make the Joneses be the bad guys. You gotta love it. Yeah, we talked about that all show with Patrick No-C Walker, and I had my thoughts on it as well. As you know, he's telling them right now, you're not going to use me as you already used me as an excuse for 2 years. They started using Micah Parsons as an excuse in 2022, I think it was. All jokes aside, go back. I think it was after the Bucks might even won, or not the Bucks, I'm sorry. After the Rams might have won the Super Bowl, you heard Stephen Jones, hey man, Dak and CD and Micah down. Micah got 3 years. What are you talking about? They was using him as an excuse. So Micah said, nah, not finna use me as an excuse. AINC dropped a 10 in the chat on the way out.
Super chat.
Just showing love. Appreciate y'all. Hey, and if you want to show love, continue to show love. You can hear over on 1026 on the Cash App flow. I should have been doing, but on the Cash App flow, you can hit that up as well, man. Good stuff today. Really, really fun show. I'll be back Sunday night, like I said, with Jesse. We got college football playoffs start tonight. NFL and college football button heads tomorrow. I'm going to be TV, phone, laptop, other TV. I'm going to be all over the place trying to catch all this action out, man. Tomorrow is going to be a really fun day of football. I don't know, man. At first, I didn't know how to feel about the college playoff expanding, but I'm kind of excited for it. Now that it's here and you get these interesting matchups, I don't want it to look like college basketball playoffs. Like I don't want to go that damn far, 69 teams or whatever. But I know something about, man, 12 teams. And once the playoffs like this go on for a few years or whatever, it will turn into, I think, hey, man, you just never know. Hot team, some random, one of these times, like a 10th seed or whatever is going to win, and it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm excited for it, man. I know a lot of people are out on it, but hell of a weekend. Excited for college football playoffs. Excited for the Cowboys game, even though I know they're out. But I'm always hyped to watch the Cowboys play. It don't matter, man. With that said, press this button right here.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
And get up out of here. That's fair, too. IG said Micah gonna have the fans on his side with this strategy. And that's the thing. I don't even know if it's a strategy. It might turn into one. But I think he was just really speaking from the heart, man. Micah really want other guys up in here to help get this team a championship. And that's how he feels the way to do it. But we out of here. Y'all be safe. Cash App is Cash App sign, money sign, chill will 1026, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace. Love you.
Squad!